Hello, hello, and welcome back to Baki Taki, Season 4, Episode 3, with one of my all-time favorite titles. This is Nature Power versus Battle Power.
For a hot second, I thought you were going to say it with one of my all-time favorite guests, but
No.
that high.
This is a guest. We've got Jack back. Our first ever guest, coming back for his third solo episode.
Really thrilled that
low ratings.
I love being the backbenches of people to call on when there's not many other people to call on. It's a big honor, really.
Don't worry, people will want to come on after they listen to this episode.
Oh, definitely. This episode is wild.
So, okay, before we jump in, everybody, of course, is familiar with you, Jack, but I have a fun question I've been asking people, which is, I'm trying to cast the Baki cinematic universe. We've already cast, what's his name? Jason Momoa is going to play Pickle, but who do you think should play Albert Payne?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, you could cast the guy who played Einstein from Oppenheimer. That would be an easy choice.
Do you know the name of that actor? Because if not then you can't use it as your answer.
Oh, his name is Tom Conti, I'm pretty sure. But I think the real choice is Malkovich.
Of the John variety?
Of the John variety. I was going to call him James Malkovich. But yeah, no, John Malkovich.
James Marsdenovich. Yeah, John Malkovich. He would fit. He would fit, especially this version of Albert. And as a reminder, listeners, this character is not Albert Einstein. Occasionally, I slip into calling him Einstein on this podcast, but he is called Albert Payne.
It's literally only fair. They should have called him like Albert Feinstein at this rate.
I quite like that.
Thank you.
It's a real name and also sort of sounds like fake Einstein.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into this episode: Nature Power versus Battle Power. So it starts off with a cameo from a character I'd never thought we'd see again. It's Rumina.
So, you think you could beat him?
Who? The caveman?
Yeah.
Baki's young ward. Do you want to describe this scene for me, Jack?
I just hate this kid. He's got the weirdest energy on the planet.
That's Baki's best friend.
If it's Baki's best friend, Baki needs to get better friends. This kid is weird. Basically, he and Baki are at a diner, and they are talking about Pickle, and Rumina just can't get his mind around why Baki doesn't want to fight Pickle. And Baki's reasoning is like, it'd be like fighting a pyramid of Giza.
This guy, Pickle, he's a priceless scientific specimen, you know? Like a national monument, something to be put on display. Fighting someone like him would be like trying to remodel one of the pyramids. I don't know.
It'd be fighting something that just has too much kind of significance, as opposed to, and he's really only interested in fighting his dad. Mm-hmm. There are two really good lines in this that I just have to draw people's attention to. Is Rumina's line saying,
"I don't get you, Baki. You'll fight anything, even a praying mantis."
Which is just crazy, because we all know that he fought the idea of a praying mantis, not a real praying mantis.
Yeah, it's funny he doesn't consider fighting the idea of Pickle.
Yeah. Just run it past your mind for a little bit. I mean, a great episode would be him fighting the idea of a pyramid, or Mount Rushmore or something.
Ooh, that could be good.
That would be pretty sweet. And then there are huge points in the delivery of Baki's line saying, "I'm only interested in beating my dad." I don't know why, but the way he says that, it reminds me of Hot Rod, when Andy Samberg only wants to beat the crap out of his dad.
Yeah, I wonder if they inspired each other. I loved that scene. First of all, just because like Baki is so rarely given moments to like develop his character. Like Rumina seems to be like, I joke that Rumina is best friend. I don't think he is, but if you go by the text, like he never hangs out with anybody else. There was one time when Kozue got kidnapped, he was hanging out with Katsumi, and every other time it seems like he's chilling with his young ward. I also loved Baki was talking about how strong his dad was, and Rumina commented,
You're doing it again.
Doing what?
Every time you talk to me about your dad, Baki, you look really happy.
And we're given a wonderful scene which was ripped straight from the manga where Baki has 3 distinct facial expressions and instead of animating them we just like slow
just
fade
a cross
between
dissolve.
them.
Yeah, it's just a cross dissolve of contemplation. They really didn't add anything else to it.
Like this is what I mean when I say like the adaptation is just like it's so minimal. Like this is one step above a motion comic at times.
Oh man, yeah, that was a great sequence of really showing statically the points of Baki thinking about his character's arc.
Yeah. So in the next scene, we get a real brief one of Pickle, just sort of thinking about how all of the dinosaurs that he fought, they didn't know martial arts. What were your first impressions on Pickle?
Well, I'm just fascinated that he lives in a jungle gym, essentially. Like, he lives at a tree with a tire swing and a wooden swing, and then
There's
bed
also
off
a
to the
koi
side.
pond and a magazine rack.
What? I didn't even see that. Oh,
This
God.
was established
wow,
in the previous episode, but yeah.
That is just a real man of culture. Pickle is an interesting guy. If the narrator, in terms of how he was kind of talking about Pickle's thought process, is really translating his inner thoughts, he thinks very directly about the things that he fought. There's no, at least for the viewer jumping in at a random episode, there's no indication of what happened to him. They just say nobody's ever done that to him before, and they never say what happened. And then he said, not this one or that one or that one, motioning to different dinosaurs that you don't know the types of which, so you can kind of infer, but it's just
My favorite was the pterodactyl. He was like, that one didn't do it either. I'm like, I don't think the pterodactyl's gonna do martial arts, man. Like,
yeah, I don't think the pterodactyl's gonna suplex you, man. Like,
to be fair, I still don't know what happened to him. He was doing a fist bump with Yujiro, and then he started spinning in the air. It was some sort of move that he did.
The point of the scene was definitely to show that he is now seeing the kind of the beauty of martial arts. He's really intrigued. He doesn't know why his body reacts to somebody kicking him with such precision. 4,000 years to put a little bit of a early development of martial arts. I think he's getting like an appreciation.
And you can't mention 4,000 years of martial arts without bringing up our good friend Retsu.
Seaking Retsu.
Oh, I'm so mad. They changed it to the subtitles have always called him Seaking Retsu, but the dubs up until now have been calling him Kaio Retsu. And I don't know if there was some like standardization between the two, but now it's Seaking Retsu.
Because I was thinking, like, this is the first time I've ever heard somebody call him Seaking Retsu, and then within the episode, just like an early spoiler, that is a scrapped name that they get rid of, and then they bring it back all within one episode. You get
I wonder if that's what sparked it. Such a focus on this episode about names that they were like, oh shit, we've been doing it wrong this whole time.
We have to give this guy a cooler name. Seaking. Like the Pokemon, or Poseidon.
Yeah, one of the 12 Poseidons of China. But But yeah, so this is a Retsu episode. I love Retsu. I've said before he's one of my favorite characters. So Baki goes to see Retsu. He's doing an impossible martial arts feat where he will punch 10 concrete blocks and the guy will say 9 and he'll break the 9th one and the other 10 are fine.
Amazing. Never seen anything like it. That's precision.
End of demonstration.
Oh, incredible.
I loved that. That was great.
It's great detail. You are missing saying that this event, this thing, is happening at the Kung Fu Training and Research Center, which I just think is a great building name.
I work in Kung Fu. Oh, on the research and development side? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a coder.
Well, if Retsu's going to bring things into the 4001st year, oh my god, I got to just tangent off on this. Retsu keeps saying, not just in this episode, but sort of throughout the season, the idea that he's trying to bring Kung Fu into its 4001st year, implying that, like, it's not implying that it's been exactly 4,000 years of Chinese martial arts, and I just enjoy that. Like, I guess you could take it symbolically, but it's just
somewhere in this year span, 4,000 years ago, somebody like dished out the first roundhouse kick, and history was forever altered
for the better. So Baki went to the Research and Development Center to ask Retsu to train him, and Retsu basically says, no thanks, not interested. In fact, I'm not interested in anything but pickle.
Don't take it personally. You see, right at this moment, I am interested in absolutely nothing other than one person. You must know who I mean. This Jurassic man. The caveman.
That Jurassic man. The caveman.
He's won my heart, damn it.
Oh, I forgot about yeah. He starts referring to he starts referring to pickle like what is it? That it's almost like a love.
Yeah. Oh, no. So it was such strong conviction. He got really passionate about pickle, about wanting to like feel his body, understand how he moves. It was like getting quite erotic.
I feel I have to know him. I have to hold him. Get him in my grip. It's a passion.
But he was saying that he is essentially hungry for pickle, and that it feels like a love, but it sounds more like a lust. But he is burning with passion.
Yeah. I don't get why Retsu's the only character who gets these type of like very easy double entendre dialogue. Like he had that whole thing with Doyle, like he gets this stuff. Even last episode, he was talking about how he felt like he was sneaking into a woman's bathroom. Like Retsu always just has weird.
Retsu's a little bit of a freak. He's a little freaky. He's a little freaky kung fu guy.
In the most positive way. Oh, I should also point out, because it really annoys me, and fans out there, if you want to correct me and like post in a comment, I think that Retsu is supposed to have some weird villainous past. But, like, I don't know what it is, and they never mention it. But Baki referenced it. He said,
as far as I'm concerned, you're a great master, no matter what you've done.
And I'm like, it was so subtle, I didn't catch it until I was rewatching for notes. And I was like, what did he do?
It would be so good if they don't elaborate on that. If they say absolutely nothing about what his rap sheet might look like.
I don't think they, like, I'm sure it's in the series that I didn't watch. Maybe. But, like, I tried to go back and I didn't see it. Like in previous things they've said, Retsu, your villainous ways prevent you from being a Kaio. But then he still becomes a Kaio, and they don't tell us what his villainous ways. I don't know. Hey, editor Steve here with a little, deep dive. So I've looked up in the past. The Baki Wiki doesn't say anything on this. And I'm not going to rewatch the entire anime just to figure out what Retsu's up to. So I decided to try a new thing. ChatGPT is a lot more popular now than when I last looked into this. And oh my god, I asked it at first, And it came up with a very straightforward answer. And I was like, oh, okay. Apparently, Retsu was a member of the Chinese criminal organization called the Red Ogre Clan. He was known for ruthless and violent behavior, but then he went on to become a martial artist. And I was like, oh, cool, that's easy. I just Googled Red Ogre Clan. It doesn't exist. I asked ChatGPT, hey, did you just make that up? And it went, yep, I just made that up. So I don't know. I don't know if that was in any way related. Red Ogre Clan sounds like they made it up based off of Baki's dad, who is called the Ogre with red hair. But I don't think he had a Chinese gang. So anyway, still a mystery. But a good example that you really shouldn't trust anything that ChatGPT or any large language model says as an authority. It says what you want to hear. It doesn't say what you need to hear. It's like they made him with those weird eyebrows, and then they had to make him a villain afterwards.
What if it's just like 4 counts of jaywalking?
To be fair, if Retsu gets caught jaywalking, I feel like he was asking for it. Like, you wouldn't charge somebody like that with jaywalking.
True. Yeah, you are right.
All right, we got to get into. We've spent a lot of time on sort of the boring part of the episode. Now it's time for the best part.
I have 3 pages of notes on this episode because it just gets crazier and crazier realistically.
All right, talk me through how they're feeding Pickle.
Oh my god. So Pickle isn't eating. He's only drank water for 10 days essentially, and they are.
It was a month.
Really, it was a month. It was a month.
It was a month.
Yeah. Jesus. You can't do. Anyways, so he is only drinking water, and they're saying he doesn't want to eat anything. All these apex predators we keep on putting in front of him, they keep on running away because they're too scared of Pickle immediately. A lion, a bear, a rhino, you know?
Yeah.
So they are pushed to the ends of their wits and elect to bring in a endangered species, the Siberian tiger, for him to fight.
Well, we paid enough for it, but I guess you expect that when you're buying an endangered species.
I feel bad about it, but it's for a worthy cause after all.
And they haven't fed it for 5 days. Oh my god. So he only wants to eat what he kills and what he fights.
Yeah.
Is the crux of this. So this Siberian tiger, who is fully tortured and left to be starving, is in such a position that it has to fight Pickle immediately. And Pickle immediately breaks its back and then starts eating it.
You can't emphasize enough how weird this fight is. Like it cuts to one still frame where Pickle has hugged the tiger into the weirdest, it's surreal the pull that he gets.
The head is almost like looping back around to look at Pickle. You could focus on all the weird narrative stuff in this episode, or you could focus on the animation, because both are like a treasure trove of just wacky, nonsensical stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that look was off the charts. The line, I know people have been saying that Albert Payne sucks, and I was like, I don't know why he sucks entirely, but this episode made me realize why he sucks, because Pickle killed that tiger really brutally, and then somebody said, "How horrifying!" And Albert chimes in saying, "Especially for the tiger." But he's like, "But we have to do it. We have to get Pickle to eat. Otherwise, what's the point of it all?" He just does not. He does not care about anything.
He's the number one Pickle apologizer. Like, he is. And he is. This is his most blunt. Like, he comes on. I forget if he comes on TV for this, but he's like.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. He's like, I will feed every tiger to Pickle. I will make this species go extinct because this monster man that we have is much more important than these Siberian tigers.
Now, I'm fully aware that the Siberian tiger is an endangered species, but the fact is, they're the only thing we've found that Pickle will eat. So, we can feel sad that there are only 500 of them left in existence. But I say we should be grateful. There are still 500, and if every last one of them has to be sacrificed in order to keep Pickle alive, that's a small price to pay, I say. After all, a tiger is just a tiger. Pickle is a one-of-a-kind treasure.
He, like, it was so funny because the episode had him kind of voicing his reasoning for this with Jerry Stridham and Tokugawa, and then they put him on TV to reinforce it and say, like, we have to do this. So that the obviously the manga is trying to be like, or the anime is trying to say like, oh no, it makes a lot of sense, but he's just a bad dude.
I would throw a tomato at this guy if I ever saw him on the street. I like it. The justification of just like, you know, it would be more interesting if he came out and said like, you know, there's 500 Siberian tigers, there's one of Pickle, but then he has to up the ante and be like, we'd feed all of them. Like he would sacrifice everybody in that room just to keep Pickle fed. Also,
No,
Pickle didn't
that's
eat
the
for a
thing.
month, and those muscles did not decay.
No, technically he should be all water weight, so he shouldn't be as defined. But for whatever reason, he is just like mounds of just muscles. Just
I don't know if it's
all
ever.
he is just a bunch of circles.
I don't know if it's ever applied more, but Pickle is built different. Like,
Oh,
he doesn't
Massive.
follow the same laws of thermodynamics and carbs that we have. So the question at this point, also the pacing of this is so weird. So it's like they have a problem, they can't feed Pickle stuff, but then they find a solution: Siberian tigers. Then Retsu comes in and says, I have a better solution. And then they sort of ignore the tiger for the rest of the episode. Like they keep having lines like, oh, I never saw even the lion do that. Or it's like, well, we saw a tiger.
they
but-
just
He's gotten up to meet the foe. He's never done that before. Not even for the lion.
they completely abandon. I guess they aren't. They need to steal more Siberian tigers from.
Yeah,
whatever
Retsu's buying
enclosures.
time while they hunt illegally for Siberian tigers.
Exactly.
So what's Retsu's grand plan?
Oh my god. So in the interest of furthering my narrative of Retsu being a little freaky with it, a little, you know, a little erotic, Retsu is into voring now, where he wants Pickle to eat him. Essentially, he it's just the craziest turn of events. He says essentially that he only eats things that he can fight and that he can defeat. So why doesn't he fight/eat me?
What do you suggest, Retsu?
Tokugawa, what if you were to feed me to Pickle?
It's so
To Tokugawa.
It's so good. And Retsu has this determination and drive. Like, we saw it earlier. He doesn't even want to talk to Baki. The only thing on his mind is he wants to fight Pickle. And if he loses, Pickle will eat him. Like, that's...
And he's so down for it. He is so down for it. It's even the eating part at that point.
Honestly, like, I don't know how to phrase this, but I think the main characters on this show are sort of... when you fight this much, it breeds this mentality of being really dumb when it comes to like if you like not even considering if you lose. Like it's like I don't think Retsu is even like even though he loses all the time. But I don't think he ever even considers the idea that he would lose when making that offer. He just really wants to fight Pickle.
He's just so he is so in love with martial arts, and he's in love with Pickle's power that he has to say, my martial arts can like beat that power, but oh my god, do I ever want to feel your body and you to eat me. It was really not what I expected out of this episode.
Yeah. Also, if you're uncomfortable with people getting eaten, just like skip this season.
Skip.
Come back next time. Yeah, we're entering the Pickle eats people portion of the season.
Holy Toledo.
But I guess we won't get too far ahead of ourselves because this is I don't know if this is my favorite fight of the season. I would say like all 3 of the 4 fights I think are really good. And this is one of them. So
3 out of 4 is a pretty good record for Baki.
It is, yeah. Try and guess which one I didn't really like. So Retsu, we're back underground the Tokyo Arena, which is now where Pickle lives, I guess. I don't know why they didn't invite fans for this. This would be pretty great to have a big audience for.
It would be great. They're just it's just the 3 of them sitting in the stands, and he's lying down on some sand.
Yeah. And he's lying like a lion does.
Like a lion or like a king. He's got the sleep posture of a king, which I didn't know that was a defining feature.
Yes.
Jerry and Tokugawa are immediately on board with feeding Retsu to Pickle, like sociopathically on board.
Oh my god, I love this. They together. Albert Payne's like, "Are you guys insane?" And they both go,
We've never felt more sane in our life.
Like it's it's so good.
Like that's not what a sane person says. Not in unison with another person.
And it's great. It's great to just see Tokugawa and Jerry together because they are like very much the same character, just in completely different bodies.
What's that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito movie? It's
Twins,
like brothers,
yeah.
Twins. It's like twins. They are literally that.
That's a very very fair comparison. So yeah, they basically tell Einstein we're very sane, and he goes, "Guys, Pickle's gonna eat him," and they're like, "Shut the fuck up."
He'll be eaten a moment after he walks.
Shut up, Professor, will you?
Shut up. Professor Payne had never been told to shut up before.
And then the narrator comes in and says, in all of his days of academia, nobody had ever told Albert to shut the fuck up before. He's like spiraling.
Maybe they should have. Maybe that would have stopped the creation of the atomic bomb. I'm just gonna watch Oppenheimer and see if there's any moments where I could have told Einstein to shut up.
Imagine somebody in the audience, Albert Einstein is writing on a blackboard, E equals MC, and then from the audience somebody says, "Shut the fuck up!" And he just drops his chalk.
And it's also Jerry Stridham who says that, just barely fitting into like his little chair.
Barely fitting into his little chair, and also not wearing a shirt underneath his military jacket, so his pectorals are just popping out the sides.
For a guy who only like gets emasculated, he looks very cool in this episode.
Yeah, he's got like a muscle daddy thing going on, little silver fox. This episode just kind of got into an erotic space, and I can't really spin my brain out of it, honestly.
All right, well, the fight. I'm gonna spin you out of it for you. So we get into the fight. Pickle wakes up, which he doesn't usually do for these fights. Retsu comes in, and Retsu has a great showing. I love it. He gets a bunch of kicks in. He's doing a great job against Pickle, but it's not really that effective.
No.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's I think it's because he is trying to, well, you could say it from 2 different perspectives. It's not effective because Pickle is just so much more stronger than Retsu, or it's because Retsu is trying to shoulder the burden of 4,000 years of kung fu, but not entirely relying on kung fu. He's having an emotional journey within himself while he's fighting Pickle.
This is a great character development fight. in that there's a lot of it, but it moves very fast.
It kind of is like I was watching it. I was thinking it's like they are writing down every idea that they have, saying that's a bad idea, but not scrapping it, still leaving it in the episode. They have one character development moment, and then they cut it down, and then they go back to it. It's just, oh my god.
So I want to describe the pacing of this fight a little bit because I really enjoy this. So Retsu comes in, and he is, we haven't seen Pickle fight a martial artist yet. We've seen him fight a big robot guy or something. But Retsu is faster, and you can see that he's more skilled, and he lands like 5 or 6 really good hits. You know, he's kicking him in the face, getting some punches in.
Huge.
Yeah.
There's a shot of his brain jiggling back and forth from a bunch of shots to his jaw. So his, in like a Looney Tunes-esque sequence, his brain is going like whop, 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 whop.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Retsu, Pickle doesn't rely on the brain too much. But what I'm trying to get across is that Retsu is in full control of this fight, and then Pickle lands like one good hit on him. And, you know, and it doesn't seem like those hits that Retsu did had too much lasting damage. But, like, this fight doesn't look like it's over. Like, it doesn't, to me at least, it seemed like Retsu still had his speed, still had his technique, and could maybe try something else, which he does end up doing. He does end up doing something else. What is his next move?
Well, so you're glossing over some part. So he gets hit, and he goes down, and then Pickle starts eating him. He takes a big ass bite out of his shoulder.
I can't believe I glossed over that.
This is the first instance of him being eaten, of eating, and they spare no detail on this. They pretty much animate a hole in his shoulder that's spurting out massive quantities of blood.
Pickle bit him! He's eating him!
That's me. He's chewing on.
And he tries to get out of it, and he gets bitten again. So he's like, "What? Why are you eating me?" And in my mind, I'm thinking, Retsu, this is what you wanted. This is what you signed up for.
Yep. He didn't. That's what I mean, though. He didn't think it through, even though he literally said, "He'll eat me if I lose." Like, it's so good.
So there's so many hills and valleys to this fight, because he starts off strong, then he gets eaten, and then he takes his gloves off, which are his shoes. So he takes his shoes off. So now he's bare knuckling it, which is just a hilarious development. Jerry literally says he's taking the gloves off now as he takes his shoes off. And that again does nothing. So Retsu has an emotional goodbye to martial arts and Seaking Retsu. He has to throw that all away and go back to his roots as Eishu Retsu.
Is it possible that a world exists where the martial arts have become useless? Then farewell 4,000 years. I will abandon all those skills. If the world has changed, then so will I! Seaking Retsu. That was the name given to me by my master when I was initiated into these arts. But if I am to save myself, I must become once again Eishu Retsu, the name my father gave me, the name my mother gave me. Eishu Retsu will save Seaking Retsu!
And it's a big thing saying, like, I need to not focus on martial arts. I need to focus on my own power.
This would be like if I like, it's such a stupid move. Like, it feels like it'd be like if I was in the Tour de France and Lance Armstrong passed me and I just threw my bike away and I started running on foot. Like, it's not gonna help me.
It's almost like that. Either you started running on foot, or you said wheel mode, and then you started trying to roll down the hill yourself. Like, that's how stupid it is. Because
this is the body my parents gave me. The first wheel.
This is Steve, and then you start doing the windmill punch.
The windmill punch. He abandoned all strategy, tactics, skill, and efficiency, and instead relied on pure emotion.
The classic move every kid knows, where you just start rotating your arms in a circle as fast as you can. and just like Looney Tunes-esque animation. And he commits to it. He really does. So then he just starts throwing all of these half-assed punches on Pickle, who doesn't seem particularly interested and tries to throw a decisive blow. And then all of a sudden, boom!
To be clear, the disdain coming from both the author and every character in this scene at how pathetic the windmill punch is palpable.
Are those really windmill punches he's throwing? What is he, a 5-year-old having a temper tantrum?
He had all of this big bravado, and then he gets reduced to nothing for doing like a windmill punch. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then, like, Ultra Instinct Goku, he starts using Kung Fu again when he doesn't want to. His body is just like, oh, I gotta kick here. He's like, no.
I told myself I wasn't going to use any moves, or tactics, or skills. I did it again!
It's supposed to be throwing a tantrum.
And that's what I mean. Like, he's still, like, even, like, he's able to block Pickle's attacks with his kung fu. Like, he really didn't need to do this windmill maneuver. It wasn't that lost of a fight.
He's just having, like, a really personal journey.
Well, it only gets more personal.
It does.
So after a few unintentional blocks, he turns around while he hears a voice speaking out to him. A ghostly presence has arrived.
Retsu.
And when he turns around, we're treated to the golden god of Retsu.
The ideal version of himself.
The ideal version of himself, which is about, I'm going to guess, an 18-foot tall golden spectral Retsu, who is trying to reach out with him with a little bit of a ghost voice. Did you see that coming?
No. But at this point, I don't know what is to be expected out of this episode. It's just... We had this windmill punch and literally biting the shoulder off somebody.
Yeah.
And now we have Retsu just having it's like a come to God moment, but if God was Retsu. So no, it was Retsu has this big emotional moment where he says, "You have to be Seaking Retsu again." So they scrapped Seaking Retsu to go to Eishu Retsu, and then they scrapped Eishu Retsu to go back to Seaking Retsu. So you know what I mean in terms of just saying that was a bad idea. Let's dump it. And then this also was a bad idea.
It's not often in a story that a character just makes a really stupid mistake and then goes, "Why did I do that?" But that's basically what happened here. Like, Retsu makes the dumbest move, and then he has to rely on his own personal god coming to him and saying, "Don't do that."
Yeah. Bad idea.
Yeah.
And so then, Retsu gives himself a hug, a well-needed hug.
One of the best images of the entire show. I love you don't get a lot of hugs in this show, but just giant Retsu hugging little Retsu is lovely.
With a really terrific quote of, "You will never be capable of shouldering anything if you don't rely on martial arts," or something.
I can be capable of shouldering anything if somebody eats your shoulder.
Exactly. He has a hole out in his shoulder. Like, his shoulder's gone.
Well, big Retsu knew just what to say to little Retsu. And we get my favorite music that they ever use in this show. It's the same music they used when Hanayama transcended the power of the gods. And Retsu goes on a tear.
Trust in my martial arts. Trust in them completely.
Getting a bunch of hits in, leading up to a great move where he what does he do? He punches, he kicks his face up and then grabs his hair with his toes and pulls Pickle's face into his knee.
While a bizarre image of Retsu, it's like a still image of Retsu kneeing Pickle, but with a golden baby with a thumb in its mouth in the background.
To the bosom of the martial arts! That's what it means to shoulder the burden of 4,000 years of history!
And it's him saying, like, 4,000 years of Kung Fu.
I loved that. And then it cut to, like, Tokugawa doing, like, almost like a meme reaction. Like, he was just like, yeah.
It was like a Mr. Beast thumbnail.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved
it was. Oh, hold on 1 second.
All right.
Where would you like to pick it up from? There is a really great moment in this fight where Retsu's coming back and really kicking some ass, where Golden God Retsu is saying, trust in my martial arts, trust in your fighting power. And it's a great line where he says, trust in my martial arts. And the move that he does to showcase this, apex of martial arts is a solid nut tap.
Yep. That's kung fu for you.
Is that Kempo? Like, he just kicks a guy in the balls and Baki's like, whoa, what technique was that?
That is kung fu. That is the highest degree and form of kung fu.
Oh man, yeah. It's funny. I get numb to those nut punches because they happen so much in this show.
Like, that's not regulation, man. That can't be.
You're fighting a caveman who just bit your shoulder off. You can't let regulations hold you back.
You know what? You might have a point.
Yeah.
I wonder if Pickle had never been nut tapped before in the
It's doing the
Jurassic
same
Ages.
thing. It's like, not this dinosaur or this one. And then it cuts to the pterodactyl and it's like, but this one did.
This one caught me hard. It's just a pterodactyl kicking him in the balls.
Oh, that would be so good.
Oh.
So that's actually the frame that the episode ends on, basically. I think it's Tokugawa's Mr. Beast face.
Yeah, I think you're entirely right. He had Retsu kind of beat Pickle. Pickle is face down on the ground.
Big win for Retsu.
Yeah.
Did you have any overall or anything else about the episode you wanted to discuss?
Not really. I mean, it was one of the most surreal episodes of TV I've ever watched, and I've watched now 4 episodes of Baki. So it's really saying something. It had it all. The newscaster had a really weird, he was like posing a bunch. It had vorism. It had a tiger getting its back broken. This weird ass fight where a guy
volunteered to get eaten, then got eaten, and went, "Whoa, no!"
hey, I don't think that's what I meant. And then has a moment where he talks to his inner self and realizes he is enough.
Yeah,
it's inspirational. I think it was a terrific episode of a fever dream of a show.
No, I agree with that assessment. Cool. That's about it. I'm gonna keep things moving because I got to edit this in a day. We do have we do have a fan question for this week. And we probably won't for the next little bit, but I'll get into that next episode.
Hey, editor Steve here, recording with a temporary mic, so please ignore. The reason that we might not have fan questions next episode is because I recorded the episode for next week already before any questions could be asked for this week. I didn't explain it here because I explained it again an hour later when I recorded the next episode, but I realize now that is a week away. So just some context.
So this question was a fun one. If I could learn the backstory of any Baki character, which would it be? And the fun thing is, I've already answered that. It's Retsu, and I don't know his villainous ways, and I bet I'm 80% sure I could find this out, and I'll probably spend some. Maybe editor Steve will answer this for me, but I just want to know what his villainous ways were.
Yeah, I think that's a fair question to wonder. I kind of want to know what Albert Payne's scientific career and what he won the Nobel Prize in. I kind of want to know
most
that
tigers killed.
Most tigers killed. Population culling.
Yeah, Dopo was the previous holder. Cool. All right, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much, Jack, for coming on. This was an episode I really wanted to talk about.
I'm so glad that I got to watch this. This is, I think I think you'll enjoy listening to it, but oh my god, just let your mind wander, because the weirdest thing that you think it happens visually in this episode, you're almost there. You have to go a little further.
Yeah. And you know what? You know what's funny at the end of the day? It really was nature power versus battle power. All right, that's all the Baki we've got to talk to. See you all next week.
4,000 years!